Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Divya Balakrishnan. I am a yoga educator and activist, and I am joined here today by two lovely women, Diana Gonima, who is a writer and a speaker, and we have Adriana Bate, who is a yoga educator as well, and we're joining you from New York City. First of all, I want to thank you all so much for joining us today, for being a part of this initiative. Clearly, this is something that has rallied people around the globe to come together to take action and push for a positive change. And that's exactly what all of you are doing just by virtue of being here with us. So thank you first and foremost. Just a few bits and bobs about the fundraiser itself. As most of you probably know, this fundraiser is directly benefiting the Palestinian American Medical Association, and they are an amazing nonprofit that are doing some incredible work directly in Palestine, in Gaza and the West Bank, to provide shipments of medical equipment to hospitals and doctors to help save the lives of patients who are in a critical state, and also just treat people who are injured. So this is a really impactful organization doing important work, and I know that everything that has contributed today is going not just to fund this operation, but it's also coming with so much love and care from all of you, which is huge. So for today's class, we'll have a bit of a talk first, coming from Diana, who's going to share a bit about her history and her experience being in the diaspora. And I will guide us through some breath work just to set us up for an asana practice, help you ground in this moment and really soak in all the amazing words coming from Diana. And that will lead us into Adriana's asana practice, which is going to be beautiful and healing. And she has an incredible theme and sort of story to share with all of us. So please be there for it, be present for it. And then from there, I will take it back. We'll do a bit of a healing group meditation to seal in the practice and send off some of this love to everyone in Palestine who needs it, who could use it right now. And we'll close with a call to action coming from Adriana, who has some amazing social justice ideas for things that all of us can do to continue taking part in this movement. And last thing I want to say is, as you're practicing, please, if you're comfortable and if you'd like to, record yourself or take photos of yourself practicing and share that on Instagram and tag all of us. One, because we would love to see who's on the other side of the screen and connect with you. And two, we will be reposting everything and sharing it, which will help us continue to build momentum. At the time of this live stream, we've raised almost $5,000 USD, which is incredible. And we want to continue that effort. This fundraiser is open until tomorrow night, Sunday night. So we want to continue generating as much awareness as possible and have people continue to contribute to this fundraiser. So all that being said, I'm very excited to now pass it on to Diana. And also, I'll just let you guys say hi, first of all. If you want to introduce yourselves or say a little bit about yourself too.
Hi everyone, I'm Diana. I'm based in Brooklyn. I'm Egyptian Palestinian, and I moved here when I was 17 to attend university and have made it my home since. I met Adriana because I took a class at Heal House in Brooklyn, and I mentioned that I was Palestinian, and they were like, we have a Palestinian instructor, and that's a really big deal. I was like, I have to meet her. So that was last year, because that's what it's like when your identity is so politicized. Saying you're Palestinian has always been something that I struggled with, and I was honestly in the closet about it and only described myself as my Egyptian half. But before I dive into my personal background, I wanted to give Adriana the space to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Adriana. I'm also a Palestinian American yoga instructor. I was born here in the United States. My grandparents had to flee Palestine during the original Nakba it started in 1948, but they left in the 1950s, which is why I was born here. And echoing everything Diana said, it's really difficult when your identity is so politicized to speak up and to be active. And so I've really appreciated everyone's support during this time and everyone really speaking out for Palestine and everyone being on this fundraiser. It really, really means a lot, and I'm really hoping that we can make radical change.
And I want everyone to just really take a moment to be really grateful for the presence of two women, two activists from the Palestinian diaspora who are here giving their time, their energy, and their care to this practice when there is a lot going on for them personally as well. So be sure to show them some love. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and pass on to Diana. She's going to take over and share a bit again about her personal history and her experience being a woman in the diaspora.
Thank you, Divya. I honestly wanted to start by using this fundraiser as a metaphor to begin with, just because I found that, let me center myself, both metaphorically and literally. But I found that this fundraiser was such a metaphor for the Palestinian struggle in so many ways. The fact that the first place that Divya secured backed out due to backlash and threats of violence should tell you everything you need to know about just why even raising money for a medical association has been politicized. And this entire fundraiser wouldn't be possible without allyship. So Divya stepping in, I know Adriana and I are both very much burnt out. We are constantly consuming, and I don't believe in the whole self-care, don't read the news and take care of yourself, because nothing's made me feel better than actually feeling like I'm making a difference, feeling like I'm raising money. And I think that's a very Western concept that self-care promotes is for the best. Like, fill up your cup. I think it also just really fills up your cup to be involved in your community. But the second main call out about allyship is, look at this space. The fact that we're able to be here is thanks to a Black-owned space, the Brooklyn Wellness Club in Bed-Stuy, and holding that space for us, it would have been impossible. There aren't that many Palestinian establishments, and if there are, they're actively getting doxxed across the entire city, across the entire country, and I also think it really speaks volumes that Adriana and I look very different, and Adriana's Christian Palestinian, I'm Muslim Palestinian, and they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that we all look different. They don't want you to know. Western media wants you to think of people in Gaza and in the West Bank, because they're attacking people outside Gaza as well. It's not just fighting Hamas. This is ethnic cleansing in its rawest form, and the notion that there's any question of this being complicated is beyond me. My grandparents were expelled during the Nakba, and I think that people see the numbers like 700,000 Palestinians were kicked out of a place, and 78% of Palestine was annexed to Israel or modern day Israel. But what people don't realize is just, yes, these numbers are huge, but this has impacts on so many people's lives in very different ways that you don't think of. So my family is scattered around the world, not by choice. So a lot of you might go home to Jersey for the holidays. You have a home base. The reason some of you are close to your families is entirely geographical, and people don't realize that, yes, it is a piece of land, but it is the land that they were living in, and they have nowhere else to go. And when Zionists came to what was Palestine and what will always be Palestine in our hearts, they needed to get Palestinian visas. So you can't even deny that this place existed. And so I just wanted to say that, like, that has caused such a different dynamic for all of our families. You'll always meet Palestinians that are mixed race because we've always been scattered around the world and displaced, and we don't get to have these huge family gatherings because we don't have the space to do that. And when you think about the impact of all of Israel's actions and what the Zionist movement has done, they killed 9,000 people in 3 weeks, but 9,000 lives, and every life connected to those lives is impacted. If I were to be blown up to pieces tomorrow, that would affect a huge aspect of the Brooklyn community that I've invested in and been so committed to. And you think of these numbers, I want you to put a face to each of them and think of the Christian Palestinians that were bombed in the church. Think of people that are doctors, your friends, plenty of them are doctors. Imagine their workplace is actually being bombed, the place that you're supposed to go to feel safe. So don't think of the numbers. I think it's important to share those numbers, but always remember that those 9,000 deaths, 4,000 kids, they impact way more lives than that. But I feel like I was feeling very helpless, but seeing all the allyship from all of my friends of different backgrounds come together, whether it's showing up to a protest with me or being part of this live stream, you have no idea how great that feels, because we can't go back to our homeland, but we've built a home here. And I also want you to realize that just because you're in a blue state does not mean that you're in a safe place. Like I said, this fundraiser we have the door locked. Like, we are nervous about being under threat from local Zionists that do yoga. So people that you think are peaceful are actually full of hatred in their heart, and I really pray for them. But I also urge you to not sink down to their level in any way, and I hope that while anti-Semitism, Islamophobia is on the rise, you're always in the room to correct that and just show what being Palestinian is all about, which is we love people, we take people in, and don't believe what you see on CNN. I hope you enjoy the rest of this practice.
Okay, that was incredibly powerful. I hope that you're all taking a few beats here. In fact, let's all collectively take a few beats to soak in everything that Diana just shared with us. And it's important for us to not just hear the facts of what Diana shared with us about what her family has been through, the sort of path that she took to be where she is now, her own personal journey to be able to speak about these things with as much strength and grace as she is. But I hope that you also hear like the human side of it behind it. There is also a human who's not able to be close to her family the way that we all, Thanksgiving, we go home, we jet home, we see our family, easy as pie, and we all go so far as to complain about, oh gosh, I can't wait to leave. I'm like, I can't be around my family more. But that is still, as complicated as the psychology of like family dynamics is, I'm not gonna get into that. It's still a privilege to be able to have access to our family with such ease, and that relationship that we can even afford to take for granted sometimes because we know they're gonna be there is still a privilege in some shape or form. So, it speaks to so much sort of generational pain to not even have a choice as to what the conditions of your family are in the present day and have to just kind of contend with that and make your own way forward. So thank you, Diana, so much. That was really, I don't even know what the word is to say, but thank you for sharing that. So before we switch into our asana practice with Adriana, I wanted to guide us all through a little bit of pranayama, colloquially known as breathwork, but we all know that it has more to do with shifting and managing the energy that animates us, that gives us life. So I think today capacity is a theme for me. Everyone is thinking about their capacity for how they can show up in a moment like this. What's the right thing for them to do? How can they make the most impact? So in thinking about capacity, I think the first thing that we all don't take advantage of is our breath. We all tend to breathe very shallow, very much kind of just in the upper region of our body, or in our throat, or in our mouth. We're not really inhaling and really giving thanks to the oxygen as much as we could be. So that being said, Dirga Pranayama is what I've chosen for today. It is known as complete breath, also known as 3-part breath. So what we're gonna do is be breathing into 3 different regions of the body. We'll start by breathing into the belly for 2 counts, into the ribs for 3 counts, and into the lungs and the chest for 4 counts. I like to use my hand as a visual guide just to help myself accentuate that. So you can do that if you like, or you can just use your mind-body connection and do it that way too. So for the first round, I'm gonna use my hands. So go ahead and bring your hands to either side of your navel so your fingertips are touching. We're gonna seal your lips, so we'll be breathing through the nose. Take a deep breath in for 2, 1. Exhale for 2, 1. Now, as you're breathing in, you can even exaggerate the movement by peeling your fingers apart a little bit and give your stomach space to expand. And before you exhale, take that pause and allow your fingertips to come back together fully. Go ahead and shift your fingers up to your rib cage with your fingertips touching at the front. And let's take a breathe in for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Same deal, allow your fingers to open and close to give your ribs room to expand. Now let's lift our fingertips up into our armpits, thumb in the armpit, fingertips touching around the sternum. Let's take a deep breath in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. And this is how much capacity you have. You can breathe into your entire body. Breath is not two-dimensional. It's not up and down. It's in and out. Think of it as a projection outside of you. You're enabling yourself to, through your breath and energy, to expand things like love and healing from your heart, and you're able to call back in strength and compassion. So let's take 2 more rounds just like that. You can use your hands if you want or not. Breathing into the belly for 2, 1. Exhale, 2, 1. Into the ribs for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Into the chest for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last round together. Inhale to the belly for 2, 1. Exhale for 2, 1. Into the ribs for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Into the chest for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and let your hands drop down to your sides. Roll the shoulders away from your neck. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Allow the crown of your head to rise up towards the ceiling. Exhale, keep this length. Relax your knees and thighs. Allow yourself to be held by the earth underneath you. Inhale and exhale. All right, I hope you're all ready to expand your capacity with some asana with Adriana. So I'm going to go ahead and cue her in.
To be here with you today again and to share a flow with you. So I'm sure all of you who have been, actively looking into what's happening in Palestine have seen some pretty horrific images on the internet. One image that I happened to see on the internet, which was not so horrific, was a visual of kids in Gaza flying kites. They, in 2010, I believe it was, kids in Gaza reached the world record for flying the most amount of kites in the sky at one time. It was 7,000 kites. And one of the children who was flying kites was interviewed by the UN, and he said, "I just hope that one day we can be as free as these kites." So hopefully with all of our help and awareness, those kids can be free. I can't believe I'm crying, sorry. But I wanted to share a flow with you today inspired by the kites flying, and we'll get into a little bit of balance work and some heart openers so we can just feel really free in our bodies. And so, yeah, I'm excited to share with you. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start just coming into a seat, just a moment to center yourself. We just did some breath work. Just roll the shoulders down the back a couple of times. You can close down your eyes. And just take a moment, taking a big breath in here. And a full exhale. Good, and then gather the palms to the heart and tuck the chin in towards the chest. And we're gonna get started just coming forward to hands and knees. If you have yoga blocks, have them close by. I'll cue for you when you can use them. And if you want a blanket if you have sensitive knees, you can grab a blanket or some kind of a cushion. And we'll come forward to hands and knees, and we're just going to explore some free movement in the body. So we'll begin by taking some cows and cats here. Inhaling to open up across the chest. And then exhaling to really round through the spine. And then as you move through your cows and cats here, you can feel free to make this a very linear cow and cat movement. Or if you want, you can take some circles around your hips here, making circles on your mat. You can flip your hands if you want, giving your wrists a little bit of a stretch. Just taking some free movement here. And we'll take a few more rounds of breath like this, in and out through the nose, opening up your chest, and then rounding out through your spine. Good, let's take one more big breath in here. And we'll take one more full exhale here. Good, let's come back to a neutral table. We're gonna flip the hands forward if you had turned them. And we'll just widen the knees, sitting back to the heels for a moment, coming into child's pose. Once you get back to your heels, really press your hands into the mat. Send your hips even further back. Find length in your spine. And let's take a full breath in here. And a full exhale here. And then we'll come forward to hands and knees once more. And we're gonna make our way into downward facing dog. So tucking the toes, lifting hips to the sky. And we'll start by just pedaling out the heels, bending one knee, bending the other, finding a little bit of length through the backs of the legs. And then keep sending your hips really high towards the sky here, pressing the ground away with your hands. And press your heart back towards your legs. And then soften the shoulders away from the ears. Good, let's take another breath in here. And we'll take another full exhale here. On the breath in, let's rise up onto the toes. We'll bend our knees. We'll walk the feet slowly forward, coming to the top of the mat. We'll meet in a forward fold. You can bend your knees pretty generously here. Let your upper and lower body connect. And you might hold on to opposite elbows. You can take a little sway here, moving from side to side. And then allow your hands to gently fall towards the ground. And as you breathe in, let's find a halfway lift, lengthening out through the spine, shoulders drawing back. And then exhale, release and fold. Good, a couple more times, inhaling, finding your halfway lift, lengthening out. And then exhaling, fold and release. And one more time, inhale, find your halfway lift and lengthen. And we'll exhale to release and fold. Let's sweep the arms up to the sky. Take the palms together above you. Look up to your thumbs. And we'll draw the palms down to the heart space. And relax the arms down by the sides. All right, let's bring our feet to about hips width distance apart, grounding down, rooting through the feet, rising through the crown of the head. And then inhale, sweep arms up, look up. And as you exhale, bend the knees as much as you need. Let's fold over the legs. Find a halfway lift. Inhale, lengthening out. Exhale as you fold. Bend your knees and step your right leg back so you're in a long, low lunge here. You can rock up and down a couple times on the right toes. And when you're ready, let's go ahead and lower the right knee down. We'll untuck our toes. On the breath in, let's sweep the arms up towards the sky. We'll find low crescent lunge. Feel rooted through the legs as you lift up through the heart space. Take a full inhale here. And a full exhale. Breathing in. And full exhale. And then one more breath in here. And exhale, hands come down to the mat. Good, let's come into a half split. So we're gonna back up our hips. If you want blocks underneath your hands to bring the ground closer, you can bring them under the hands. Reach your chest forward, and then come to fold over your left leg, drawing your left hip back, and breathing deeply. Let's take one more breath in here. One more exhale. Rebend your left knee. We're gonna come into a lunge twist. Right hand stays down, tuck the toes, lift the knee. Stretch your left arm up towards the sky here. Really pressing out of the right palm, finding strength in your right shoulder as you spiral open. And exhale, left hand down, step back, downward facing dog. Let's lift our hips to the sky. We'll come forward into plank pose, and we'll tap our knees down here. Keep your hips lifted in the air as you bend elbows in and back, knees, chest, and chin to the ground. On your breath in, you can slide your heart through, coming into a baby cobra. And then exhale, bringing your heart to the ground. We'll press ourselves up and back, downward facing dog. Take a full inhale here. And a full exhale. All right, let's lift our right leg up to the sky as we breathe in. Draw the right knee in towards the nose and softly step in between the hands. You can do a little back up and down, this time on your left toes. And then lower left knee down, untucking toes. Let's reach both arms up to the sky, low crescent lunge. Imagine you're dragging your right heel and left knee towards each other, finding strength in the hips, and then lifting up through the heart space from there. Find another full breath in here. And another full exhale. Let's bring our hands to the mat. We'll find a half split. So right leg will lengthen. Again, you can use blocks under the hands. Heart reaches forward, right hip reaches back, and you'll come to fold over the leg. Breathing in and out through the nose, getting closer to yourself. One more breath in here. And one more exhale here. Let's rebend right knee. We're gonna come into a lunge twist. So left hand down, tuck the left toes, reach your right arm up to the sky, finding a big twist here, opening yourself up. And this time as we exhale, we'll bring the right hand down and we'll step forward into a forward fold. On the breath in, sweep your arms out and up, take the palms together above you. And then let's bring the palms to the heart and arms rest by the sides. All right, we're gonna come into chair pose, so feet can be together or hips distance apart. Let's bend the knees, sit hips down and back. We'll sweep the arms up to the sky. In your chair, sitting back into the heels, staying strong in the hips, lifted through the heart space. Take another full breath in here. And exhale, fold over legs, release. Half lift as you breathe in, lengthen out through the spine. Fold as you breathe out. Let's step into plank pose, and you can lower through knees, chest, and chin, or maybe through chaturanga this time. Inhaling, opening up your chest, and exhaling back into your downward facing dog. All right, let's lift our right leg up to the sky as we breathe in. Draw the right knee towards the right upper arm as you exhale here. Let's send it long on the breath in. Right knee to nose as your exhale. And we'll reach it up as we breathe in. Good, right knee to the nose one more time. We're gonna lower this right knee down. spin the left heel down as we come into a modified side plank. You can draw the left arm up and over the ear, finding a lot of left side body length here. Good, taking one more breath in. And exhale, left hand down, lift your right leg up to the sky, breathing in. Again, we'll draw the knee to the nose and step softly in between our hands. Spin your left heel down. Let's come open to warrior two, settling in to the hips as you arrive. Good, we'll take a full inhale here and a full exhale here. All right, lengthen out right leg, reach as far forward as you can. Let's come down into triangle. Another place you can definitely use a block underneath your right hands. Think about lifting up from the legs and the core, reaching up for the sky. And then rebend the right knee. Let's reverse the warrior. So we'll sweep the right arm up and we'll reach it all the way back here. And then as you exhale, let's take half moon. We'll propel ourselves forward. You can absolutely use a block underneath your right hand. Left hand can start on the hip if you need. Left arm reaches up to the sky. Opening yourself up. Good. On your exhale, let's bend right knee. We'll softly step back, warrior two. Good, let's come into flying warrior. So just lengthen everything up and out here. And we'll take our hands to our hips, turning our toes in towards each other. Let's find a fold, find a little length in the spine, and then exhale to softly come down into the fold here. You can press the ground away to find a little length, and then exhale, folding one more time. All right, press the ground away. Let's turn the right toes out. We're gonna come back to the front of our mat. We'll find a low lunge. Plant your hands and just send your right leg up to the sky for down dog splits. If you would like from here, you can bend that right knee, open up through the hip, and maybe you'll flip over, bringing the right foot down, lifting the right arm up towards the sky. Good, we'll come back to downward dog when you're ready. You can move through a flow from here if you want, or you can skip it, just pausing in your down dog. I'm just going to fix the mic, 1 second. I think it's good, okay. All right, and then once you get back to down dog, let's lift left leg up as we breathe in. Left knee, left upper arm, exhale. Reach it up and back, breathing in. Left knee to nose, exhale. Reach it up and breathe in. Left knee right to the middle of the mat. And we'll just drop it down. Spin your right heel down, coming into this modified side plank. Right arm draws up and over the ear. One more breath in. And exhale, right hand down. Lift left leg up and back as you breathe in. Draw the knee to the nose and step softly between hands. Let's spin right heel down, warrior two, windmilling the arms open and settling into the legs as you exhale. Take another full inhale here and another full exhale. Let's lengthen out left leg, reach as far forward as you can, coming down for triangle. Left hand down, right arm reaches up towards the sky. Press out of your feet, finding the sense of lift. And then rebend left knee. Let's reverse warrior. Sweeping left arm up, reaching it all the way back, finding space through the left side of your rib cage, breathing deeply. And exhaling into half moon, left hand comes forward in front of left foot and a little bit to the left. Try to keep your right leg strong, whatever we're lifting up. See if you can support it here. Find your breath as you balance. And then step back, warrior two as you're ready. Good, let's fly the warrior again, reaching arms up. Good, this time you can sweep your arms behind you if you'd like. Inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, fold. You don't have to turn around on your mat. I just did that, so I'm facing you, coming forward. Couple more breaths. All right, find a little length in your spine, breathing in. And then hands to the mat as you exhale. Again, left toes will turn out. I'm just gonna switch my feet so you're in a low lunge here. And then let's lift that left leg up and back and down dog splits. Can bend your knee open through the hip. Maybe flipping your dog if you like. Left foot can land, left arm can open up towards the sky. Let's come back to downward facing dog and take a breath in here and a breath out here. Good, come forward into a plank pose and we're just gonna drop our knees to the ground. Take a moment in child's pose, hips to your heels. You can sweep your arms down by your sides, holding onto your heels, giving yourself a little hug here. Let the forehead rest on the ground. Take a couple more breaths. And then let's extend the arms forward and we'll lift ourselves back up, downward facing dog. Once you get there, send the right leg up and bend your right knee, open up through the hip. And we're gonna make our way into pigeon. So right knee will come towards the right wrist. Right ankle comes towards the left. Slide your left leg back. And then come up all the way upright, finding a little length in the spine. If your hips feel uneven, you can always take your blanket or your block, putting it underneath your right hip. And when you're ready, just go ahead and walk yourself down into the folds. You can let your head drop down, or you can stay on your forearms, whatever feels good here. And we'll try to find 8 long breaths here. Lengthening out our exhales helps us to calm and focus our nervous system. And I find that when I have a more regulated nervous system, as Diana was talking about at the beginning of class, this isn't self-care for the purpose of self-care, but it's self-care for the purpose of protecting our community. So when we can have a more regulated nervous system, when we can operate from a place of strength, we can support the people around us. So I find that breathing deeply really helps to accomplish that. Let's take 3 more breaths together. Full inhale here. And full exhale. Breathing in deeply. And full breath out here. And then 1 more breath in here. And 1 more full exhale here. All right, let's come back up to the palms of our hands, and we'll step back into downward facing dog. If you want to on the way, you can shake out that right leg, release the hip, whatever feels good. And once you get back to down dog, let's take the left side. side. So left leg lifts up and back. You can bend and open up through the hip. And then we'll take it through left knee to left wrist, left ankle to right. Slide your right leg back. Find a little bit of length in your spine here. And then make your way down slowly, taking your time. I apologize if there's a lot of noise. The mic is like coming out of its little socket, but hopefully it's not too bad. And then just find your breath here, finding long, full exhales. Letting your exhales be a little bit longer than the inhales here. And we'll take about 5 more breaths here, in and out through the nose. Maybe getting a little bit deeper in the practice, getting closer to the ground if you'd like. All right, come back up to the palms of your hands. Let's tuck the right toes, lift the knee. You can send the left leg up and back, free up the leg, whatever feels good here. Good, and then let's bring the left foot back and down to the ground. We're gonna come back back down onto our knees. Once you get onto your knees, you can just cross your ankles. We'll meet in a seat at the back of our mats, cross-legged or on your knees. You can roll the shoulders down the back a couple of times, again, finding a long spine here. And I'm going to pass this on to Divya, who's going to lead us into a final breathing exercise and meditation to end the practice. And then we'll have a little chat afterwards.
All right, everyone just take a moment to be with yourself, to be with your breath. Maybe your heart rate is coming down a little bit more after those delicious, juicy, long pigeon pose holds. So let's just be here for a few seconds and allow the body to settle in, allow gravity to start to draw us down deeper into the earth. Keeping your lips sealed, start to relax your face. Allow your eyebrows to drop down, relax the lips. Maybe even close your eyes or lower your gaze down towards the floor. And here I'm going to invite you to bring your right hand to the belly, your left hand over your heart. I'm not covering the mic. And just stay here with the breath. We're going to take our time. And keeping your hand on your heart, start to slow the breath. Notice any lingering thoughts, any feelings, any remnants from practice still lingering, and allow your exhales to gently release them. Start to allow the edges of where your body ends and the rest of the world begins. Allow them to blur, just get a little bit fuzzy. And finally here, I want you to surrender any control you might still be holding on to. Allow it to move through you and then move away from you. It's a powerful act to release control and be vulnerable with ourselves so that we can harness our power in different ways. And today I want us to focus on the power of love, the healing quality of this powerful, powerful energy. Begin to recall to your mind a memory of yours. Maybe it's recent, maybe it's from your childhood. But bring to mind a memory where you felt yourself light up with love and joy to the point where you feel that you were just beaming from every atom of your being. Like there's light bursting out of you, like you're basking in a jar of golden honey, just surrounded in this beautiful, genuine love. Maybe it's from something someone said to you, maybe it's from a moment of reckoning with yourself. Maybe it's from when you fell in love or when you reconnected with someone in your family. Maybe you resolved a fight or a conflict with someone dear to you. Whatever it is, focus on this feeling of love and allow it to start to creep into every crevice of your body in this present moment. Allow this love to transcend time, to transcend location, to transcend meaning, to transcend shape and form, and allow it to be, to come back in this present moment. Cultivate this love, give it space, use your breath, draw the love and expand it bigger and bigger and bigger, and allow it to start to leave you. Using your breath, guide this love outside of the shell of your body, coming back to that blurry edge where the rest of our body ends and the world begins. I want you to let this love permeate that exterior and continue on outside of you. And take a moment now to set this intention that this love reaches anyone who needs it, anyone who is lacking this love, even a fraction of it, anyone who is scared, anyone who is tired, anyone who is hurt, anyone who is hungry, anyone who's alone. Allow this love to reach them. Ask this love to reach them, and ask them to receive this love. Anytime your mind tries to take you away from this act of sharing love, call it back. Come back to the feeling in your body, that golden, warm, exuberant feeling of love. Call it back. Breathe life into it and breathe it out of you. Again, asking that this love reaches anyone who needs it, anyone who is asking for it. Unconditionally sending it. Thinking of a child who doesn't know where their family are, or someone who's searching for their partner, or someone who's working hard to provide for, support, and care for anyone who's injured. Everyone who's being impacted by this. everyone in Palestine who is looking for a sign of love, who's looking for a sign of compassion. Let this be their beacon. Let this reach them. And let them wrap around themselves this love in no uncertainty that it will reach them in abundance, that they will be free, they will be liberated, and that they are loved. Start to call your energy back to your body. Start to feel the ground underneath you, the oxygen and the air around you, the light touching your skin. Know where you are. When you're ready, you can release your hands back down to your lap. You can open your eyes, come back to this moment, come back to the present. And keeping this love strong in our hearts, I want you to think about how else you can show your love, how else you can show this power in action. And keeping that in mind, I'm going to bring Adriana back to share with us all some loving actions that we can all take today.
Thank you so much, Divya, for that meditation. It made me cry. I'm constantly crying nowadays. But I wanted to share some actions that you can take, which is super important. We all thank you so much for donating to this fundraiser, but the most important thing that we can do right now is really to keep the pressure on our politicians to radically change our foreign relations policy in this country. We have been supporting Israel with billions of dollars a year forever. Every president has given money to Israel. And so we really need our politicians to radically change this. Israel continues to be more and more abusive towards the Palestinians. They continue to take more land. They continue to enable their settlers to be violent against Palestinians. And beyond what's happening in Gaza right now, there's so much that's been happening for the last 75 years in Gaza and in the West Bank and towards Palestinians who actually live in Israel. There are some that live in Israel. So we need radical change. The first thing that you can do is to call your senators and your House of Representatives rep daily to demand a ceasefire. That is the most urgent action that we need to take. But then after that is done, we need to find ways to encourage our senators and our House of Representatives to end the military occupation of Palestine. That is the most important thing. So even after the ceasefire happens, the situation will not be over. There is no military solution to this problem. We need a political solution, and that means we need international powers to really intervene and hold Israel accountable for its aggressions towards the Palestinians, for its occupation, for its human rights abuses, for its war crimes that are constant and ongoing for the last 75 years. This did not just happen on October 7th. This has been happening for 75 years, and we need it to end. Palestinians should have the right to return back to their homeland. And so I'm begging you, after this, whatever is happening right now, war, conflict, after the ceasefire happens, please, please, please keep in mind that we need to keep pressure on these on these senators and representatives. When you're voting, look at people's track records on Israel and Palestine. A lot of the people that you think are quote unquote progressive are progressive except for Palestine. This is a very common acronym that we use in the Palestinian community, because the people who you would think are progressive are actually very far right when it comes to foreign policy. So keep pressure on these representatives. It works. It really works when we really pressure people to make changes. That's how changes happen. So yeah, that's our ask for today, is to download the 5 Calls app, demand a ceasefire daily. The 5 Calls app makes this very easy, and then keep the pressure on even after that to end the occupation of Palestine. Thank you.
And now all of us will come back up here and we'll just close out the fundraiser.
Sure. Okay. I'm having mic troubles today.
Again, thank you all so much for joining today's fundraiser. It's been incredible to share the space and hold the space with all of you, and to be here with Diana and Adriana, who have graciously donated their time and their energy to help get this message across. So I hope that this felt powerful for you. I hope it felt empowering, and that you feel called to go take some of the actions that Adriana just shared with you. Again, when you're moving in the space of social justice, in the space of liberation, you need to do this sustainably. You need to calibrate yourself. You need to be you need to engage in critical thinking every time you see something, and continue to exercise compassion. So I hope that this event was a little bit of a boost for you in some way, that it introduced you to some new perspectives or thoughts. And I hope that you carry this with you throughout the rest of your day, throughout the rest of your week, and just forever more, as we all continue to fight the good fight. So once again, thank you so much for joining us for this fundraiser. And I will be sharing an email probably within the next week that has the recording of today's class, along with proof of the donation, and just additional resources, again, to help us continue taking compassionate action. Thank you all so much, and we will see you when we see you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for joining.